Hi guys, welcome to a new everyday makeup drawer. Today we're going to be resetting my drawer for the month of October. This might be my favorite month of the year for makeup. I just love fall makeup, vampy looks, and I'm so excited to pick out the products that I'm going to be focusing on in October. So first let's take a look at my previous rotation. I'll give you some mini reviews and recaps on the things I've been using over the last month or so. Then we'll pick some new items to roll in and we'll do a look at the end of the video using some of those products. So let's get into it. Okay, so one small update. I decided to actually move my everyday makeup drawer items into the top of my Alex drawer set. So I have these two desks set up in here kind of in an L shape, and I was using this drawer for my everyday makeup, but I realized that I would rather have it over here. I had a basically empty Alex drawer anyway, so I just moved everything else down one drawer and then designated this one for my everyday makeup, and I like that better. So here's everything in here. I've also acquired just a few new things that I always just automatically put in my everyday makeup drawer to test them out. So let's take a look. Actually, one of those new things is this foundation. I got this in the gift exchange we did at the Creators and Friends retreat last month. I was really excited to try it out because I've heard really good things about this. It's the Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin Foundation, and it's the shade 1C. I actually don't know if I like this. It is definitely a luminous foundation, and these days my skin is pretty oily, so that might be part of it. But I also just don't love the way it looks on my skin. It just kind of looks like it's sitting on top of my skin. I've tried applying it with my fingers, a brush, a sponge. With a sponge, I feel like I get almost no coverage. I think I like my fingers the best. Actually, I like a lot of products applied with my fingers lately. Maybe I'll like it more if my skin dries out a little bit in the winter, but I'm gonna leave it in because I feel like I'm still getting a feel for that one. Another thing that'll stay in is the Makeup Revolution Sport Fix setting spray because that's my one and only setting spray, so I will just pretty much use that every day. Same with my NYX Pro Fix Stick. This will stay in. This actually broke, so I did a little surgery on it. That'll be in my next chore day vlog, which is coming soon if it's not already up. But what I did was I dug some out of the bottom, put it into this little container that I had, then I pushed the rest of the stick back down into the base. I'm gonna go ahead and use up what's in this container for now, so I'll put the stick itself away. But that is also actually my one and only color corrector. That'll be the one that stays in here. I will go ahead and take out my Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer because I am trying to pan my Tarte concealer before the end of the year. So this one will stay in here. That'll just be my daily concealer. I really do like this Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer. I've used it a ton so far this year, so I'm really happy that I'm just getting consistent use on it. This really does have good coverage and it's nice and lightweight. It doesn't crease easily on my under eyes. Really fell in love with this product this month. I've had it for, I think, almost a year now. I think I bought it around this time last year. It's the Fenty Beauty Ease Drop Blurring Skin Tint. I wear the shade 2, and I love this. It's a rare matte skin tint, and it just has the most beautiful finish on the skin, very like softening and blurring, and I just love it. I actually prefer to apply it with my fingers, and it's just gorgeous. So yeah, I brought this with me on my trip. I used it a ton. I think I'll go ahead and put it away so I can give some of my other foundations some use. Haven't used this in a little while, but this is the e.l.f. Soft Glam Satin Foundation. I did use it a lot more towards like the beginning of this rotation of products. Also brought it with me to the Catskills and used it a lot, especially for more glam looks that I did. It is a nice medium coverage, soft satin finish foundation. And it's one of the few, like, I won't say full coverage, but higher coverage base products that I have. So it's good for any time that I want a little more coverage. Most days I just go for skin tints, but this is good when I want more of a true foundation. So, but I will go ahead and put that away as well. And the Tarte Shape Tape Creamy Concealer, I'm working on using this up, so this will stay in here as well. All right, let's hop over here to some of my powders and cheek products, and then we'll go into this container. Okay, so this is such a bummer. My Tower 28 powder was starting to crack in the middle, and I really wanted to take it with me to the Catskills because it's one of my favorite powders. It's the Get Set powder in the shade Palisades Pink. It was starting to crack. It kept cracking more and more, like the more I used it. So I was like, you know, if I want to travel with this, I want it to be secure. So I was like, let's repress it. Well, this time it didn't go very well. I don't know what it is about this formula, but I repressed it with isopropyl alcohol like I normally do. Usually that works fine for any powder product, but something with this one, it just didn't work well. So yeah, like if I tip this over, it'll fall completely out of the pan. So here's what I'm gonna do. It's not that I can't use it, it's just like extremely hard pressed in there as well. Like it's really hard to get anything off on my brush. So I don't want to give up on it because A, this was kind of expensive, and B, I really like it and don't want it to go to waste. So what I think I'll do is turn it into a loose powder, but I don't have an available empty loose powder container right now. But I am a little more than halfway through my e.l.f. Halo Glow loose powder. So I'm going to focus on using this up, and then once this is empty, I can crush this into a loose powder and put it in that container. So that's the plan. So this I'm just going to kind of set aside. I won't really be able to use it until then. I mean, I could, but it's just kind of annoying to use. So all of that to say, I will go ahead and leave the e.l.f. Halo Glow loose powder in this drawer. This is really the only powder I have now that I like on my under eyes. So this will just continue to be my daily under eye setting powder. I've actually just been using this every day for the under eyes and the entire face. And this is in the shade Light, so it's just a good all-over translucent setting powder. Absolutely love this cream bronzer. This is the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer in the shade Light. Beautiful shade for my fair skin. It just blends in effortlessly. I put quite a few uses on this in the last month. I've now used it a total of 15 times this year, so that's really good. I'm gonna put that away so I can use some of my other bronzers. But this is such a good product. Another bronzer, I will leave this in because this is in my end of year project pan. So far still no pan in there, but I love this bronzer, so I'm happy to keep using it. Also had this bronzer in there this month. This is the What's Up Beauty Ciquatere bronzer in Light. I think this was one of my lesser used bronzers, and that's why I rolled it in last rotation. I've now used it 10 times this year, so definitely, you know, getting some good mileage on it now. But I'll go ahead and put that away. It is pretty similar actually to the Fenty. Like I feel like they both kind of, I could use them interchangeably, honestly. But yeah, I love this bronzer too. All right, next for some of the blushes I had in here, this is the Lawless Cream Blush in the shade Gumdrop. Such a fun bubblegum pink. I have now used this only 3 times this year, but that is more than it was before. And this really just isn't the time of year that I'm reaching for this color of blush very often. I'm much more into kind of browny, rosy blushes in the fall. But I'm also, like I said last time, I'm trying to get out of that mindset of, you know, certain makeup is only for certain times of year. Like I would usually say like this is a spring and summer blush, but of course you can use it any time of year. But I'm glad to have gotten at least a couple more uses on this, so I'll put that away. The Tower 28, oh, that I almost thought that was a pan in there, but no, it's just a little mark. This is the Tower 28 Cream Blush. It's actually a lip and cheek color in the shade Magic Hour. And this will stay in as well because I'm also trying to hit pan on this before the end of the year. Okay, Kaleidos Pearl Bliss. I adore this blush. It is the pale brown blush of my dreams. I mean, you can already see I've worn away quite a bit of that imprint. I'm so tempted to keep this in another rotation, but I also know that I should probably put it away. I can maybe roll it back in like November or December, but I have some other blushes that need some attention, so I'm going to reluctantly put this back. This is one of my most used blushes of the year as well, the Essence Pure Nude Baked Blush in Shimmery Rose. Such a gorgeous blush. It's like a blush and highlight in one. Glad to be seeing so much use on this. This I'm going to keep in for another rotation because it's just the perfect time of year for this. It's the NYX Sweet Cheeks blush in the shade Nude Tude. And it's a color that just feels very fall to me. So I want to go ahead and keep this in for one more month. This is another thing I got in the gift exchange at the Catskills retreat, and it's something that I've been curious about for a while. It's the Axiology Lip to Lid Balmies. The idea behind this is it's a duo of plastic-free multi-use sticks. So we have the shades Cinnamon and Champagne. So Cinnamon makes a beautiful blush color, a lip color, and you can also apparently use them on your eyes. I haven't tried that yet, but I do want to try that. And then Champagne is a nice, like, kind of, you know, champagne highlight sort of shade. So yeah, having a lot of fun testing these out, and I do want to keep it in another rotation, especially because that cinnamon shade is just perfect for fall. Okay, and then for highlighter, I've been using the Spark Cosmetics Ethereal Glow Highlighter. It is a beautiful, just colorless, glimmery wet look highlighter. This has actually now become my most used highlighter of the year so far, so I will put this away and put something else in its place, but this is one of my favorite highlighters. I just love it. All right, then in this middle section, I have a lot going on in here. Actually, this is also a highlighter. the Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light Wand in Pillow Talk. This is a nice rose gold highlight. It's actually the slightest bit dark on me, but if I apply it before blush, it blends out just fine. And I'll put it just kind of like a little bit lower on my cheeks than I might normally put a highlighter. But I'm going to go ahead and leave this in for another round because I would just like to get a little bit more use out of it. Another thing that will be staying in here is the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize Cream Shadow in Rose Gold. Another thing I'm trying to hit pan on this year. I've just been using that as an eyeshadow base. And same with the NYX Epic Wear Liner Stick in Rose Gold. This is also in my end of year project pan, so my mascara, the Revolution Wrap Lash, this is the only mascara I have open right now, so I will also be leaving this in. This was fun to use. This is the e.l.f. Fine as Fleck Glitter Shadow in the shade Champagne Showers. A similar shade to ColourPop Ritz, but just a little bit less shiny. Still has a really pretty glitter to it, kind of a finer glitter. I used it several times as a topper and it was really pretty. So I'm gonna put that away. Another eyeshadow I had in here was the ColourPop Shadow Sticks in the shade Bear With Me. It's a matte rosy beige, kind of similar to the Merit Solo Shadow in Studio if you were looking for kind of a dupe for that. It's not an exact dupe, but it is pretty similar to that type of shade. I love this for a quick one and done matte look, or I'll do this and then pop a shimmer on top. Super easy, and I feel like these ColourPop shadow sticks do last quite well on the eyes. They don't crease on me. I always wear an eye primer underneath any eyeshadow, but I like the way these wear. The Tower 28 one-liner in Draw Me, it's a nice rich brown. I use this mainly as an eyeliner, but it is actually meant to be a multi-use stick. You can use it on the eyes, lips, face, wherever. I have a vision. I want to try this as like a vampy brown lip color. I feel like that would be really fun for a fall look, so I will go ahead and keep this in here. Then this is the Wonder Skin eyebrow stain. It's the Brow Stain and Go in the shade Blonde. I ended up not really using this very much, even though it's a cool product and I would like to use it more. I just find that it's kind of a lot of work to have to apply it, let it sit, and then go wipe it off. Also, right now I'm in the middle of doing a bunch of brow gel demos for my upcoming brow glue showdown, and I'm just for the sake of consistency, I'm not using this product. I'm just using the brow gels and then filling in with my NYX brow pen. So I think I'm going to put this away for now, but I'll probably bring it back once I'm done with that video. Okay, so now we're down to lip products. I had a couple of lip stains in here. One of them was this lip liner stain from Sachu, and this is in the shade Hazel, so it's meant to be like a nice brown lip stain. I do really like the color of this. So this is what it looks like straight out of the tube. It's like a really dark brown color. You apply that, let it dry, and then you peel off that layer. One of those products that makes for a good short form video concept. You know, it's kind of shocking to see how dark it is at first and then you peel it off. So it's kind of gone viral for that reason. Now, I think it is a cool concept, but the thing is, I always end up with like such a defined line around my lips, which isn't necessarily the look I want to go for. Like, I kind of prefer a more blended lip liner look, so I'm still kind of getting the hang of this. I may actually go ahead and leave this in for another rotation to kind of keep playing with it. There was one day I decided to try it all over the lips, like to see how it would work as an all over lip stain so that I wouldn't have that problem of it just being like a stark line all the way around the border of my lips. And I quickly learned why this is marketed as a lip liner stain and not just a lip stain, because on the inside of my lips, it stained way darker than the outside. Like, as you get more towards the inside of my lips, closer to my mouth where there's more moisture, this looked so dark and I could not get it off. Like, it looked so bad. I'll pop a picture on the screen. I had to like really scrub with like a lip oil to try and get it to even out a little bit. It was not cute. So I won't use it that way again. I'll just stick to using this as a lip liner and just see if I can get it to look a little bit more like blended with the rest of my lips. So let me know your tips if you've tried this. Another lip stain, this is the Wonder Skin lip stain in the shade Lovely. This is another kind of like TikTok viral lip stain that it looks, you can see like a metallic blue when you apply it. It sort of like dyes your lips, and you let that sit and then wipe off the blue layer and you're left with the color of the lip stain. This shade, Lovely, I think it's supposed to be like they call it a chestnut brown, I think, on their website. It ends up being kind of like a rosy brownish color, like a little bit more mauvey than, I guess maybe kind of mixed with the color of my own lips. That's the color it turns out. I do really like the color that it gives my lips, but this I really find, even if my lips aren't dry to begin with, it will cling to any remotely dry part of my lips. Especially like around the corners of my mouth, I feel like it gets kind of patchy. So I don't know if you just have to have like perfectly soft lips to use this, but I don't know, I have other lip stains I feel like are more agreeable with my lips. So I'm not going to declutter it just yet, but I am going to put it away and use some of my other lip stains. So again, if you have this product and you like it, let me know if you have any tips for how to make it work and not look patchy. I have 3 SPF lip products in here. The In Beauty project is one I rolled in at the beginning of this rotation, and then the Undefined Beauty ones were also something that we received at the Creators and Friends retreat. I actually talked in my Dethroned Products video how I actually prefer the Undefined ones over the In Beauty. I just like the doe foot better. I like the texture better. They're not quite as sticky. Just a little bit more comfortable on the lips, but I mean, I still like and recommend both. All of these are just mineral SPF, so they don't have any bad like chemical sunscreen taste. And let's see, I think I will go ahead and leave the Undefined Beauty, that more purpley shade. That's the shade Unbothered Pink. I'm going to leave that one in, but I will go ahead and put these 2 away. Another thing from the Creators and Friends retreat, this is the Bare Minerals lip oil in the shade Spark. And I have to say, I'm so disappointed by this because I thought it was going to be this really fun, spicy red color, and it's actually clear. Okay, there's a swatch. I guess it does have a little bit of that red color, especially the part that just has like more product on it. So I don't know, maybe I'll keep this in because I've only used it once so far and I do want to play with it a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, I was just hoping it would be a little bit more pigmented. As always, I really enjoyed the Jones Road lip pencil in the shade Nudist. Love this formula. It's creamy, it's blurring, it's blendable. Just a really great lip liner formula if you like a wooden pencil liner, which I really do prefer. Definitely logged a good number of uses on that, so I'll go ahead and put that one away. This one is new to me. I was so excited to receive from Singe Beauty, which is Angelica Nyqvist's makeup line. She recently came out with a palette, which you might have noticed back here, the Paisley Hoot. Really having fun with that one. And also a line of lip liners. And the lip liners she came out with are so unique. They have such interesting colors. She sent 3. For now, I just wanted to try one of them just to see what I thought of it. You know, I'm trying to be very minimal with my collection, but this is the shade Ambitious Ash, and it's a cool toned taupey brown. Let me show you. So there it is swatched above the lip oil. It is just the most interesting color for a lip liner. I've already worn it twice, really loving it for like a clay taupe color for the lips, really unlike any other lip liner color I've tried. So loving that. I've been really enjoying that with some fall looks that I've done. And I've paired it with the Revi Beauty Effortless Lips. It's like a tinted lip balm in the shade Lily. This is just a warm, I'll show a picture of what those two look like together, but this is a warm peachy nude. And the combo of that cool ashy brown with the warmer peach tinted balm is just beautiful. Really surprised with how much I like this color on my lips. I wasn't sure how I'd feel about such a kind of almost grayish toned lip liner, but I love it. So I'm going to keep this in as well to keep playing with. The Lawless Forget the Filler in Rosy Outlook. This is one of my all-time favorite lip gloss formulas. This is really a clear lip gloss with just like a hint of pink. Love this product. It's so plumping and glossy. It's definitely a very thick gloss formula, but it's not stringy at all. Absolutely love it. So, but I am going to put that away. The BK Beauty lipstick in Grace, I will also take this out, but this is a nice cooler toned light nude shade. And then back here we have my palettes that are in my current rotation of No Pan Left Behind. By default, I put any new palettes directly into my No Pan Left Behind so that I can test out every shade. This is what that Paisley Hoot palette looks like on the inside. I cannot get over how cute the name Paisley Hoot is. I am just loving this for kind of like an earthy fall vibe. I've used it twice already. Love the mix of cool taupey grays and warm kind of terracotta shades, that mustard color. Yeah, having so much fun with that. And then the other new to me palette in here, this also came from the Creators and Friends event. I actually had not heard of this brand before, but it's an indie brand, DD Signature, and this is their Fearless Holiday palette. Oh, so fun. Even you can just tell by the shade names, but it's kind of It has some fall shades, but also some winter shades. So it's kind of just inspired by the fall and holiday season, which I love. This is my favorite time of year, like really like September through December. It's the best time of year. So I love having a palette that's just dedicated to that whole season. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with this. And then the other palettes that are in my No Pan Left Behind, it's taking me a while to get through this round of palettes, but pretty soon I'll be ready to film my final round of No Pan Left Behind for the year, because I have almost made my way through all my palettes, which is so exciting. So that is what is going to be staying in the drawer, and then I'll be switching out these palettes when I do my next round of No Pan Left Behind. But this is everything that'll stay in. This is all the stuff that I need to put away, and then we can pick out some new goodies. All right, let's pick some new items to add in. So first up, for base products, one thing I've been using a lot, so I might as well just go ahead and put it in my everyday makeup drawer, is the Glow Recipe Hue Drops. I have been using this underneath the, actually you didn't see it in my drawer because I've been keeping it on top of my vanity, but the Dime Wonder Screen. It is a tinted mineral sunscreen. I am trying to use this up before it expires at the end of the month. And this is just a hair light on my skin. So I find that when I wear the Hue Drops under it, it ends up being like the perfect shade. The Jones Road Just Enough Tinted Moisturizer. I want to use this some more because it's been a while. I actually haven't used it since we moved into this apartment, since my skin turned oily, so I want to see how I like it now. So let's add that. And of course we also have the Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin already in there. I'm thinking, I've been wearing the Dime Wonder Screen as both a sunscreen and also sometimes as a skin tint, like as a makeup step. So I feel like between those three we should be good, especially because honestly most days I really am just reaching for the Dime. And then I don't need another concealer or corrector because I already have the Tarte and the NYX. So when it comes to blush, already in my drawer we have the NYX Sweet Cheeks, the Tower 28, and also that Axiology Cinnamon Stick, which also totally works as like a warm, spicy blush. So I definitely have my warm tone cream blushes taken care of. I do, however, want to pull in my Patrick Ta Duo. This is the shade Not Too Much. The top is a cream, like very light rosy nude, and then the bottom is a peachy powder. I just haven't used this enough this year, so let's fix that. I actually think I'm just going to stop there for blush. Normally I would pick one or two more, but I feel like between the ones I already have in here and this duo, I will have plenty of blush options. So for bronzer, of course, I'm already working on the Fenty bronzer, but that's the only one I have in here so far. So let's see. My least used bronzers are actually a tie between this one, the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush, which I've apparently only used 3 times this year. So let's add this one in for a lighter option if I want something really subtle. I've also only used this one 3 times this year, the e.l.f. Camo Liquid Bronzer in the shade Fair, which is a nice light contour shade. So let's add that in. So that way we'll have 2 powder options and a liquid. So next I'll pick one powder highlighter. I only have 3 powder highlighters in my collection, and then in the drawer already we have that Axiology Champagne Balmy and the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. So we have a rosy liquid and a champagne cream. So I'm thinking I'll just go for my current least used powder highlighter, which is the Nabla Skin Glazing in the shade Privilege, which is one of my favorite highlighters of all time. Don't know why I haven't used it much this year. I've used it 9 times this year, but I would like to use it way more. So let's roll that in. It's a beautiful kind of duochrome champagne peachy highlighter. Absolutely stunning. I definitely prefer powder highlighter over cream, so I have a feeling I'll end up using this probably way more than the Charlotte Tilbury and the Axiology, but it's nice to have options. So I also have my powders over here. Again, I don't have very many anymore. The Tower 28, as of right now, is kind of out of commission. And then I have the AOA Perfect Pressed Powder. I think I'm just going to stick to using the e.l.f. Halo Glow powder as my all-over setting powder, because I just want this to be the next one that I finish. So we'll stick to that, and that'll be it for this drawer. And in here I have all my eye primers and brow products, working on showdowns for both of those categories, so I'm just keeping them in here because I'm kind of just using all of them right now. Then, let's see, I have some eyeshadow sticks over here. I am going to grab my Hard Candy shadow stick in the shade Stoned. This is a really pretty matte, like clay taupe color. I feel like this would go really nicely with some of the shades in that Singe Beauty palette. And I have only used this once so far this year, so let's get some more uses on that. Another single shadow I want to get more uses on is the Flower Beauty Chrome Crush Pressed Pigment in the shade Quartz. This is gorgeous, so glittery and sparkly and just, oh, it's stunning. I was so sad to learn that Flower Beauty is closing. Heartbreaking news, they had such great products. I always looked forward to looking at their displays at the drugstore, so I'm really sad to hear that, but can still enjoy the products that we have from them. This was one of their standout products for sure. So let's toss this in. And I also have eyeliners back here in this container. This, even though it's my most used liner of the year, it's the Fenty Fly Liner in the shade In Big Truffle. I'm still gonna add this back into my everyday makeup drawer. I find myself just wanting to reach for this product all the time. It is a brown felt tip liquid liner. I'm also going to bring in this poor little liner has only gotten one use this year. It's the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil in Overdrive. It's this really pretty forest green shade. I love it around the holidays. I have a feeling I'll use it a lot in like December, but I think a rich green like this is also beautiful in the fall. Alright, and lastly for the lip drawer. So for lip liners, these are the three I already have in the drawer. All are brown. So I definitely have brown covered. I think I'll pull in a slightly pinkier lip pencil. This is the e.l.f. Cream Glide Lip Liner in the shade Pinky Swear. Nice classic pinky nude color. And I think that'll be good for lip liners. Then for lipsticks and tinted balms, one lipstick I definitely want to pull in is the Estate lipstick in the shade Fluffy. Love this lipstick. It's a nice light caramel nude. So there it is there. Those two actually would make a pretty pairing. But I love that lipstick and I have not used it enough yet this year, but it's a great fall nude. So let's toss that one in. And for a tinted lip balm, I also want to add the Jones Road tinted lip in Nude Mauve. So that's it on top there. Another one I think would go well with the e.l.f. lip liner. I'm also curious to see what that one would look like with that Singe, like grayish taupe lip liner. Okay, then when it comes to glosses, I do want to pick one of my Lawless lip glosses. Let's do the shade Nudie. So that's it on top there, just a nice pinky beigey nude. Love that. And then I also am going to put in my Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lip Plump in White Peach. I've also barely used this year, which is such a shame because love this product. It's just gotten overlooked by other things. But that's what that color looks like. I mean, just a gorgeous milky peach. So that's it there on the very top. I guess it's kind of similar to Nudie from Lawless. Okay, actually, I think I am going to put Lawless Nudie away. And instead, I'm going to grab the e.l.f. Pout Clout Plumping Lip Pen in the shade Toasted because this is just such a great fall color. I'll swatch it as well while we're at it. Yeah, so there's e.l.f. Toasted above Tarte White Peach. Just like a warmer, deeper, peachy nude. Yeah, it feels very fall, very pumpkin spice. All right, and there's everything all put away. I think this is going to be such a fun fall rotation. So now to kick things off, let's do a makeup look using some of these items. Okay, I've actually already applied a brow glue. I'm wearing the NYX tinted brow glue in the shade Taupe. I filmed a demo to that like 2 hours ago. So for my base, let's go ahead and prime with the Glow Recipe Hue Drops. Just do one pump of that. And then I think for my base today, let's try the Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin together. I don't think I've used this on camera yet. So let's just try this out together. Okay, I'm gonna blend it out mostly with my fingers and then I'll tap over with a sponge. So I've got kind of a base layer of that on, and I have just a little bit more left on my hand. So I'm gonna take my sponge, pick up some of that, and then just tap over everything. Okay, I would say that's actually the best this foundation has looked so far. I feel like it just looks like a little bit cakey around my mouth, like my chin and like the sides of my mouth. That's usually where cakiness shows up first. Yeah, it almost looks a little bit dry on my chin, so I don't know. But overall, I mean, especially like looking in the viewfinder, I think it looks very nice. Then pretty much my everyday concealer combo has been the Tarte Shape Tape Creamy, topped with the NYX Pro Fix Stick, which I currently have this little bit of it in this container. Actually, before I color correct and then powder my under eyes, I'm going to do some cream cheek products. I think I'll use the e.l.f. Camo Liquid Bronzer in Fair as a contour. And I may bronze as well, but just start with a little bit of that. Yeah, so I think I do want to do like a chocolate brown lip today, and overall just a very fall look today, kind of vampy. I have some ideas for the eyes. I'm thinking we'll use the DD Signature Fearless Holiday Palette and some of those like red tones. All right, for my blush, I'm thinking we use the cream side of the Patrick Ta Not Too Much duo. That feels like a good nude, rosy color for this look. I think the eyes, both the eyes and the lips are going to be very strong in this look, so I'll go a little bit more neutral on the cheeks. Let's try out the Axiology Balmy in Champagne today for my highlight, or at least I might go over it with a powder too. But I'm just going to take some on my finger, just drawing it on, and then tap that onto my cheekbone. So now that I'm ready to powder my under eyes, I'm going to tap some of that NYX Pro Fix Stick in pink first, just to add a little brightness and color correction. I've never used it not straight from the stick before, like this is coming out of this little pot, because this is what I dug out of the bottom of that stick. I think I may have put on a little bit more than I normally do, because it's looking very bright. Let me actually add a little bit more blush, because I feel like things are, like my under eyes looking kind of stark against my cheeks, and usually a little more blush helps just blend everything together. Nice, okay. That's better. This is so nice. All right, so now I'm ready to powder with that e.l.f. Halo Glow loose powder. Okay, I think I do want a little bit more highlighter, so I'm gonna use my Nabla Skin Glazing in Privilege. So I think I want today's eye look to be inspired by bright red fall leaves, because I've been seeing those around a lot recently. We are in like that peak part of fall, and I'm living for it. So, okay, I think before I start the eye look, I'm gonna go ahead and apply this Tower 28 one-liner in Draw Me to my lips. It's this chocolate brown color. I've never worn it on the lips before, so I wanna see what it looks like, and that way hopefully my eye look can coincide nicely with it. I want to mostly just fill my lips in with this entirely. Okay, very vampy. I love it. I was thinking recently I don't really have any dark vampy lipsticks, but I do have this, which can be used on the lips, and that is a very vampy fall color. I love it, dare I say. It actually went on the lips really smoothly. This works well for me as an eyeliner. I wasn't sure how it would be on the lips, but I actually think that looks nice, not patchy, not dry. So now the question is, what do we do on the eyes? I think I'm going to mostly use the Fearless Holiday palette, and mainly the bottom row, these reds. I think I will actually also dip into the Singe Beauty Paisley Hoot palette, because I need some lighter browns, I think. I'm going to start with a mix of rattan and earthy. This light brown and then like the medium brown. Moving over to the Fearless Holiday palette, now I'm picking up some of this deepest brown cacao. And this is going to be in the very outermost corner of my eye. Ooh, that is a nice deep shade. All right, back to the crease brush I used before. Okay, kind of nervous, but I'm gonna dip into the shade Holiday Flavor, which is that really bright red. Using that same brush, I just wiped it off. And that is gonna go right next to the brown. Ooh, yeah, that's bright. All right, then I'm gonna pick up some of the shade Festive. Oh, wow, that's so pretty. It's like a metallic red. And I'm applying that to the rest of my lid. Back to my crease brush, I'm blending just above everything now. All right, for my inner corner, I'm gonna pop some of my NYX Epic Wear liner stick in rose gold. And as I've been doing a lot recently, I'm also gonna just take that all the way across the lower lash line. And to tie together the lips and the eyes, I'm also going to use this Tower 28 one-liner as an eyeliner. So I'm taking that and just like smudging it on the upper lash line. Then I'll take this square liner brush from Sigma, it's the E15. Pick up a little more and then smudge it out. Okay, I just want to go back into the Singe palette, into those two mattes again, and just add a little bit more to both eyes. Okay, I'm also going to take some of the shade Saddle, which is the other matte brown in the Holiday palette, down below on the lower lash line, just in like the outer half. Alright, just going in with some Revolution Sport Fix setting spray. And then just curling my lashes, and for mascara, as always, I'm using the Revolution Wrap Lash. Alright, so there's my very vampy fall leaf inspired look. I mean, it's bold, but I feel so in the fall spirit now. I can also totally see some really fun Christmas looks with some of those reds as well. Yeah, I think this palette is going to be great from fall all the way through the holidays. Thank you guys so much for watching this everyday makeup drawer. As always, I cannot wait to play with all of these items and create all kinds of looks with them, but thank you so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share it with a friend, and otherwise I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll talk to you very soon in my next video. Bye!